Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So obviously the last time I saw you all was when I shared my story about my own domestic abuse story, and I can't even believe the response that I've had. Like, I can't even put into words how many messages I've had, whether that's been people asking questions or whether people are just showing support, or people even sharing their own experiences, and people saying that watching my video they realise they're going through the same thing. And like, I was so apprehensive about posting it or even filming it in the first place. I didn't think I was going to do it, and I'm so glad I did it. And I feel like there was so much more to say that I couldn't just leave it at that video and just carry on with like normal life. I do feel some sort of guilt because I have had so many messages, and even, you know, some people have been asking me advice and things like that, and it's like I physically cannot respond back to you all. But I'm hoping in this video I will be able to answer some of your questions. I didn't film this sooner just for the fact that after I did my last video, I just felt like I was going to be in a completely different place than I was. And the whole point of this video is obviously to highlight red flags, you know, trigger warnings and things like that, and how important it is, but also to show you there is a positive at the end of the tunnel. There is a light, and you can leave and you can, you know, overcome it. And I just, over the last couple of weeks, I felt in a place where, like, I just wasn't in a place to talk about it because I felt like I hadn't overcome it myself. And so I feel like in that, how can I help other people and come on here and be like, oh, everything's fine, you'll be fine, when I didn't feel fine. Now I've come to like a realisation over the last couple of weeks, and genuinely I feel like you've all helped me to do it, for the fact that I have been waiting for the day that I wake up and don't hurt from what happened, and I've been waiting for a day that I don't really think about it and, you know, it's just forgotten about. And I've realised, and especially from a lot of your messages, from some people have said 10 years ago this happened to me, I still hurt from it, or 4 years ago, or a year ago. And it made me realise, do you know what, like, I don't think you ever get over it, ever. You never wake up one day and think, oh, I don't care anymore, that happened to me, yeah. I just think it's important to learn how to try and move on from it and how to heal from it, which is what I've literally realised over the last couple of weeks. Thank you to all of you, because I was waiting for this big epiphany day to happen, which obviously never came. And yeah, I feel like I did this to help other people, but in doing that I feel like you've all helped me too. So I want to say thank you for that. And yeah, I feel like now it's becoming more of I realise it's become more of like a journey, my own journey as well, on it with you all as well that might be on the same journey, or, you know, starting your own journey with it and overcoming it. Yeah, I don't think you ever completely forget about it, but that's what I've realised. But I've got loads of questions here, so I'm going to try and answer some of them. And then again, this is what I'm struggling with. It's like I don't know what advice to give, because I feel like I need advice myself. So yeah, it's tricky, but I feel like we can all do it together. I feel like I'll just answer questions because I feel like they'll prompt me to things that I want to say. So someone said, what have you found helpful for your own healing? Well done for speaking the truth. Do you know what I have found with this whole thing is that not one set thing makes you feel better. You can't just do one thing that's going to make you go, oh yeah, I'm fine now. There's things that help. In particular, I know everything that helps will be different to each individual, but for me, I started reading that positivity book that I showed you all, that genuinely, hands down, has really helped me, because it helps you learn how to look at things a bit differently and a bit positively. And I'll put the link in the bio as well. That's by an author called Vex King. It's so good. But things that I've done myself, I've tried to do things that I don't think I've done it on purpose, but I've done it and not realised what I was doing. But it's sort of like taking back control of my own life, if that makes sense. I felt like I was controlled for so long that I didn't have control of my life. Everything I did wasn't really for me. And one of those things was, for example, I couldn't really put a picture on social media in like a dress or anything like that. Like, if any part of my skin was showing, it was a problem. And so I feel like since leaving that relationship and everything and moving on and being happier, I've posted a lot more revealing pictures than I ever would have ever posted before. But do you know what, like, it's made me feel so good because I never could before. And I hate, it's so hard because I know now so many of you will understand, but saying the words like, oh, I couldn't do that and I couldn't do this, a lot of people wouldn't understand because they'd be like, well, why couldn't you? You physically can, like, it's your own life, take control of it, but that's the point, like, that's what's so hard to do. But yeah, I started just posting, like, even pictures in, like, bikinis and stuff like that I know I would have had a whole war if I'd even thought about posting before, and it just makes me feel good. I feel independent and I feel like I'm getting that sort of, like, feeling more me back. So that helped me personally. I used to sit and look at people's, like, social media posts when they say, you know, turn your negative thoughts into positives, and I used to be like, how can you turn a positive thought and how can you turn a negative thought into a positive? Like, I'm negative, I feel really down, I can't suddenly start thinking positive. And I realised one day what they all meant after this whole situation, and just little things like, if I'm having really negative thoughts one day, I'm feeling really down, I'll just try and turn that negative thought into a positive. Like, I'll think about what I have got and what I'm grateful for. Like, Malia is always what comes into my head. My family and my friends. I'm having a roof over our head, and just tiny things like that genuinely help me, because it just turns the negatives into positives. If I'm having a really bad day and I just feel so down, I'll get in the shower, I'll wash my hair, I'll automatically feel a bit better than the grease ball I was sat like. And they're just tiny things that genuinely help my day when I'm not feeling good. But yeah, that's what's personally helped me. I mean, overcoming the whole situation as a whole, I think just allowing time, not putting too much pressure on myself to suddenly feel fine and be over it, because that's not going to happen. And I guess, yeah, obviously learning that you need time is the first thing. But yeah, I hope that's answered that one. It's just a long process. Someone said, can domestic violence just be emotional and financial? My ex used to pick on my appearance and withhold money. 100% it can. Like, emotional abuse can hurt just as much as physical. Like, that is a fact. Just because you can't see it on the outside does not mean that it's not happening. If anything, I feel my emotional abuse stays with me and haunts me more than the scars I have on my neck and how much they hurt. So yeah, emotional abuse is, you know, some people have messaged me and said, oh, well, my boyfriend doesn't physically hurt me, so surely he's not abusing me, and that's not true. Emotional abuse is just as bad, damaging and wrong as physical abuse. And I think by understanding that, you'll understand it, and that's important. Withholding money and making comments about your appearance is a trigger warning. And I think that's really important to know, really important. Someone said, I'm in that relationship myself for 6 years now. The feeling of being trapped financially and emotionally. I find it hard to give advice on these questions, just for the fact that, like, my heart goes out to anybody that, you know, I didn't have a house with him or children, or, you know, he wasn't a huge impact on my life to leave, and I still found it incredibly hard. He doesn't even live anywhere near me, so there was, you know, it should, on paper, you think, oh, that should be easier. Like, you don't have a house with me, you don't have children, you don't have a lot to sort out if you do leave, and you don't have a lot to lose. But he did trap me financially. I would turn down jobs because he'd tell me not to, and he'd be like, well, I'll give you the money for it. He just made me feel like I couldn't live without him, and he reminded me every day how lucky I was to have someone like him, and how nobody would ever treat me the way he does. He would tell me all the time, nobody would ever spend the money that I spend on you, nobody would ever treat you the way that I do. And so in a way, I feel like I was sort of trapped financially. Just whole nother sign of it. He actually used to, not loads, but he bought me a present, and then if I did something he didn't like, he'd take it away, and then he'd give it back to me, like, as a reward. So like my birthday present, the incident I spoke about on my birthday last year, when I spoke to like a boy in a bar, and I obviously thought it was all my fault. Like there was nothing in this conversation at all. Like he was just so genuine. He wasn't trying to like try it on with me whatsoever. And obviously when he found out about that, he had bought me a birthday present and he gave it to me. He told me to put a picture of it on social media so everyone knows that he got it for me, and then he took it away, and I didn't get it back until about 3 months later, when he said I'd been like I was being rewarded for being so good. So yeah, and it's the hardest thing, and I feel like it's so hard. And for people coming into new relationships, if that happens to you, they are the signs. Like they are really big signs, like financially, making you rely on them financially and everything like that. That is a sign. Towards the end of the relationship, I started doing things that I didn't realise I was doing, but I was sort of trying to detach myself from him. And just little things like he would say, let's go here, I'll pay for it, and I'd say no thank you. Do you want this present? No thank you. Like, and I was, you know, sort of detaching myself from him, so that helped. Didn't help incredibly, because when we did break up, obviously it was like a big like, wow, okay. But yeah, I went through a domestic abusive relationship 4 years ago, and everything that happened still haunts me. So this is what I was saying. I genuinely felt like he was gonna be sentenced and I'd be fine. I'd just go for it, like, see, like, thank you, like that's it, like it's done. And it just didn't happen like that, and I was just, that's hit me harder over the last couple of weeks as well, because I felt like I was waiting for this big moment where I'd get over it, and I haven't. And like even that there, like 4 years, it happened to this girl 4 years ago, and it still haunts her. And it's like emotional wounds. They will always heal, but you'll always be scarred. Like that is just the fact of it. However, I do always sit and think to myself, the saying of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I always tell myself that, like, I know eventually when I do heal from everything, I will be stronger than I ever would have been if it hadn't have happened to me. I also tell myself that everything happens for a reason, and everything that's happened in my life has happened for a reason. And, you know, whether it's to teach me certain things, to help me grow. And these are just tiny things I say to myself that make me feel remotely better. A lot of people ask what happened after that incident that led him to obviously to be arrested. So I came home. My neck was, you've seen the pictures on my neck, it was like that, and so I didn't have Malia back for a couple of days. I had to tell Manly, her dad, I had to tell him what happened. I was so worried about that, because I was like, is he going to try and take her away from me because he thinks she's not safe with me because this has happened to me? But do you know what, he was really understanding, and he kept her for a couple of days, like, so, because I was upset. I stayed on my friend's floor, like on sofa cushions, for a couple of days, and one evening I had like a horrible tight feeling in my chest, like I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I said to her, like, I've got this horrible feeling in my chest, like I can't get rid of it, and she said, that's anxiety. So I had that afterwards. I just felt numb. I think that's the best way to describe it. I didn't feel completely, like, significantly upset. I wasn't constantly crying. I just felt numb. I felt emotionless for a while. But I think obviously because Amalia, I had to pick myself back up again, and carry on. And then about a month went past, and I felt like, do you know what, like I feel like I'm getting, like, you know, I'm healing from it, I'm okay. And then I got a no caller ID call, and it was him. And I was answering the calls at the time because I thought it might be the police, and he just said my name. And you know when like everything leaves your body, I remember I was in Tesco's with my friend, and I literally, it's like I went all the way back again. Like it just hurt, I just hurt everywhere, like I just felt so upset. And it got to the point where I felt angry. I was like, what, like just let me move on, please, like just leave me alone. You've hurt me to the point where like it's changed me as a person. I feel like I don't feel like the same person anymore. There was a time, and even, do you know what, I even have these days now, I wake up in the morning and it's like, sometimes I go to bed at night and I love going to bed. I love getting into bed, and it's just great. And I wake up in the morning and I don't want to wake up. And not that I don't want to wake up, that I don't want to be here anymore, that's not what I'm saying, but getting out of bed sometimes is hard. Like, I don't want to, I just think I could lay in bed all day. And don't get me wrong, those days are getting less and less now. I feel a lot better, and Marlia, she saves, this is why I always say Marlia saves me in so many ways, because I don't know what I would do without her. Like, she really, really helps me, because without knowing it, obviously I do everything I do for her, but yeah, it's been hard. And even now, I was a very carefree spirit before him. I'd never really gone through anything. I'd never even gone through a proper breakup, really. And now I feel like I've lost that, and I'm trying to get back, and I feel like it will come back, but I don't feel like myself anymore. Yeah, waking up in the morning, sometimes I don't even want to get up, but you have to. I think pushing yourself through it and trying to do things that make you feel better, changing routine, I found helped me as well. That helps, but that's what sort of happened afterwards. And then I had a couple more messages on social media accounts, and they weren't direct messages from him. One of them was someone that I know is his friend. Not a direct friend, but I remember seeing his name on comments underneath like his pictures before. Just asking whether, like, he replied back to one of my stories, just saying, oh, would you ever get back with that boy you were with? And so I knew it was him, because it's his friend. Like, he's obviously asking him to ask. And then I had it a couple months later, I had another similar message, but at the top it said and then his name, and then another message underneath saying, like, would you ever get back with that boy you were with? So I don't know what happened. I don't know whether he'd sent that message to someone to then send on to me, and that person's accidentally put his name, or what went wrong. But like, that's breaking obviously his bail conditions. I let the police know, but obviously there's not really enough evidence. Like, it's not like setting evidence that it was him. But I felt anger for a while, and even now sometimes I feel a bit anger, because I'm just like, please, like, just let me move on. But I think helping me as well is like trying to find forgiveness, because I feel like having a lot of hate is never going to help you move on properly. You know, waking up every day feeling angry with him and angry at the situation isn't going to help me move on. I mean, I'll never forget what he did, but I try and have forgiveness rather than hate in my heart, and that has helped me. Yeah. How do you move on after being abused? I was oblivious to the gaslighting with my ex and scared it will happen with a new boyfriend. Now, I feel like this is a huge thing as well, because obviously everyone wants to be happy. I used to love as in like love. I used to look at people in love and think I can't wait to be in love. And then the problem is, I feel like once it's got bad with him, I already loved him at that point, and so it was very hard to then leave. If it had been at that at the start, I would have been like, like, leave me alone, like, we're not going any further. And so don't get me wrong, that is one of my fears as well. A huge fear is that it's just going to happen again, and what if it happens in 3 years? What if they're perfect for 3 years and I buy a house with them and we get married and we have kids, and then they're like it again? I feel like I can't go through that again. But at the same time, it's like, how long do you worry about that? How long do you carry on worrying that that's going to happen to you again? I mean, I will always be more cautious now. Like, any sort of sign, I feel like I'll put up with a lot less. At the first sign of anything weird, I will leave, because yeah, but I don't know. And then I say that, and then I'm like, will I? I do worry about that. I think, will I in that situation? And obviously firsthand, I also know, like, I did, you know, obviously the whole sort of situation that happened with my ex was all over me speaking to someone else and me moving on, and that person was a lovely person. He was the complete opposite to my ex, someone that you could think would be like an angel sent from heaven, like, wouldn't step a foot wrong. And no matter how hard I tried, I physically could not carry on with him. And I don't know whether maybe me and him just weren't suited, or whether it was me. But I was then left feeling like, am I just damaged goods now? Am I just damaged? Like, am I never going to be with someone properly again? And I just think you just need to have time on your own. And I feel like I can't give proper advice on that, because I'm not sat here now like, oh yeah, I've met, like, you know, I'm married now and this is how you get over it with somebody new. But what I'm going to try and do is just make sure I'm more wary. I try and learn about someone before I get too serious with them, and just any smaller sign, leave, because it does get worse. And hopefully, you know, when you meet the right person, you won't have that concern, because you maybe will feel they're not, but I think you just need to be wary, because I didn't feel like he was until I knew that the relationship wasn't right, but I didn't know he could hurt me to that extent until he did. So I think you just got to be cautious, but in the same time you can't let that rule your life. So if anyone's got any advice for that one, please leave it down below, because I don't know if that's very good advice, because I feel like I'm going through that too. So as a friend, how do you support someone not ready to leave yet? Now, I feel like that's a really, really important one, just for the fact that that is very, very, very common. What my friends did was, I feel like you don't want to make your friend feel like they can't come to you. That is my biggest advice. You need to be, you know, the whole cruel to be kind is not, that whole cruel to be kind sort of advice, I'd say, isn't probably the right one in this situation, just because I felt like sometimes with my friends, like, they could be quite savage about him, and it would get to the point where I feel like I wouldn't want to go to them and say certain things, because I knew that they would say bad things. So you don't want to be too understanding and not give your friend any form of advice. You know, you don't want to be like, okay, that's fine, okay, that's fine. I think you just need to make your friend know that what they're doing is wrong. I think the best thing is, when you're sat, you know, giving your friend advice, say it's wrong. It will get worse, you know, he'll end up really hurting you. Like, can we do anything to help you? Would you want to leave now? And if their answers are no, just make sure they know that you're always there for them, because the last thing you ever want is your friend not to be able to come to you because they feel like you're gonna, you know, judge or anything like that, because I know that feeling. But at the same time, you know, if you think your friend, they pose like a, you know, a danger to your friend, there is a thing called Clare's Law that I found out about, that any friend or family, or even the person themselves, can ask the police if their partner poses a threat to them. So whether they've got any history of domestic violence or anything like that. I think as well, supporting your friend going through it, you need to be prepared that they might get angry with you, because when you're being very, very manipulated by someone, they'll make you feel like your friends don't care about you. Your friends are just jealous, and so you might get that reaction. And I was separated from my friends. And I remember, like, if any of my friends said anything like that to me, I'd get defensive, and I'd be like, my best friend, she said to me, I don't like him. And I was like, you have no reason to. She had every reason to. She knew exactly what was going on, but I got angry and defensive, and luckily we didn't argue, because the conversation got shut down there. But I think just make your friend, try and speak to your friend, and, you know, make it clear that what they're doing is very wrong. It will get worse. They can end up really hurting them. What they're doing is hurting them if it's emotional. It's not, just doesn't have to be physical. But you just need to be there for support. That's the best advice I can give. Yeah. Someone said, in terms of, you know, healing and moving on, the Freedom Programme, and they put, it is truly eye-opening. It really did save my life. And I haven't heard of that, and I'm going to look into that, and I will let you know what it is, because I haven't heard of it. I mean, I'll find it and put a link down below and read about it. But that seems really good. Someone said, I want to leave him for the way he's treating me with physical and mental abuse, but I don't want to be alone. I love him. I do want to leave him with the abuse I get, but I love him. Is that normal to love someone who abuses you? 100% it's normal. Just because somebody abuses you doesn't mean suddenly you don't love them anymore. And I think that's what is very, very hard, especially with, you know, like domestic abuse with a partner, because you love them. You know, like, they hurt you and hurt you. He hurt me and hurt me so much, and I still loved him. And when you love someone, it's hard to leave. It's not just like, you know, if you've fallen out of love with them. It's so hard, but you can do it. And I will never let someone treat me. I refuse to let someone treat me the way that he did again. I'm hoping because I've gone through that now, I will know not to let someone do that, but it is easier said than done. But it's so normal to love someone, and don't feel like because you love them, I went through a phase where I thought, but I do love him. And then I thought, maybe I'm mentally unstable. Maybe I've lost the plot. Like, I love him, but he's hurt me. It's normal. It is so normal. And I think that's really important to know, because that obviously can be mistaken for, you know, well, okay, he's hurt me but I love him so I'm going to go back. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean you should go back. It's normal and you need to heal and get over, and time is a healer, and eventually you won't love them the way you do now. How did you stop feeling fearful of any new boys interested? So for a long time, like, a relationship wasn't on my mind. Obviously I did try and I did meet someone that was lovely, but it didn't work out. And truth is, I haven't stopped feeling fearful. I haven't, because I'm scared it will happen again, but I can't live my life like that. I'd hope now, because of what I've been through, and now I know the signs. I didn't know the signs before. I didn't know the red flags, and I want to highlight the red flags, you know. Controlling, even down to telling you what to wear, who to see, going through your phone, making you feel worthless, putting you down, like, for their own gain. So for example, you know, commenting on your appearance and saying that what you look like isn't nice, you know, fat shaming and things like that, and calling you names, separating you from your friends and family, isolating you. Gaslighting is a big one as well. And all the sort of emotional abuse but the red flags of separating from my friends and family, I didn't realise that they were red flags, you know. But yeah, so I haven't stopped feeling fearful. Sorry, I'm going to finish answering that. I haven't stopped feeling fearful at all, but I think it's important to know the red flags, and as soon as you do see a tiny red flag, even if it's a baby pink and it's not completely red, you, like, try and leave, or think about leaving, because it will get worse. I don't want to say this to make you nervous, but are you afraid when he gets out he will do something to hurt you? No, for the fact that from the day it happened, when he was arrested, he hasn't done anything to hurt me, so I don't know why he would come out of prison and do anything to hurt me. Obviously it's always a fear, but I've got an indefinite restraining order. And obviously when I called the police, they were there as quick as they possibly could be. And I would hope that, from what I know about him, I don't really know if I do know him anymore, but from what I do know about him, I don't think he'd want to be going back to prison. He loves life too much. And I feel like I'm not going to be put in a position with him again like that, so I don't think he'd come looking for me. But yeah, I guess it's always a sort of you know, question, but I don't think so, no. How do you get your self-confidence back after an abusive relationship? Time. I give myself pep talks in the mirror sometimes, but my confidence was at an all-time low. Like I said before, like, I started posting more pictures that, you know, like bikini pictures and underwear pictures, that made me feel better, gave me self-confidence, because I thought, wow, I'm actually taking it back now, like, I will do that. But just whatever, sometimes maybe just sit down and think, what gives me confidence, and then whatever it is that comes into your mind, do it. Just do it. Yeah, that helped me. Just doing what I felt like gave me confidence, like posting those pictures. It really helped me. Do you believe people can change, not in a naive way, but if they seek the correct help? Now, do you know what? I will never make excuses for him about what he's done, because what he's done is the worst to me. However, someone does deserve the chance to change. He can't pay for what he's done forever. And not only for him, I hope he has the chance to change, but so that he doesn't do it to somebody else, I hope he changes. You know, just for the fact that I hope he doesn't hurt somebody else, he gets the help he needs and he changes. I don't know what the right advice is to tell someone, whether if someone's got a past of it, whether you should trust them, because the whole reason of Care's Law is to find out if someone's got a past of it. I personally believe I don't know, I wouldn't like to say, I was about to say I personally don't think someone can change from it, but I feel like everyone deserves a chance to change. I personally wouldn't run the risk of, if I knew someone had a past of it, you know, domestic violence, I wouldn't speak to them for the fact that I wouldn't ever put myself in that position to go through it again. When I was going through it, I had another question as well somewhere. Someone asked me how I handled being a mum around it. And the truth is with that, like, that was very, very hard. I cried for days thinking I've let Malia down. I felt like I put myself in a position that a mum shouldn't have, and blamed myself for a long time. I thought, I'm so down, I don't want to get out of bed today, or we're just going to stay at home today, when if I hadn't have done that and gone with him, I wouldn't have been feeling sorry for myself in my bed. But at the same time, how long can you punish yourself? You can't punish yourself for it. I just try and get up every day and do my best for Malia. But I thought, can she see my mood? Can she see me crying? Has she seen the scars on my neck? And yeah, for a long time I felt like I'd let her down. But I got to a point where I thought, I can't keep thinking like that, because I'm never going to be happy if I carry on thinking like that. But yeah. Do you know what, like, again, I know I keep saying this with these videos, but I haven't even touched upon the questions. These aren't yes and no questions, these are like questions that need detailed answers, and I have pages upon pages upon pages. I'll show you, like, it literally scrolls down for ages. Like, there's so many, it goes on and on and on. So I feel like I'll carry on doing these videos. Maybe if you feel that they do help you, like, please do let me know in the comments if these videos do help you, because I have questions upon questions upon questions. I haven't even got through probably a quarter of them at all. But did you have to go to court to face him? If so, how did you prepare for that? So I didn't, and that was something that I was really concerned about, but he did plead guilty, so I didn't have to go to court at all. Some people suggested to me about going to sentencing to see and to have that as a bit of closure, but I didn't do that. I guess preparing for court, the best way you can do that maybe is just sort of maybe taking someone supportive with you. I know it can be really scary, but the police can also put things in place like a screen, so that they can't see you. You can do it from a video link, and just know, like, it will make you so much stronger. Like, it will make you so much stronger, and you can get through it, and you are strong. Afterwards I was offered like a sort of reconciliation of closure sort of thing. I don't know too much about it. I don't want to give any wrong information, because I didn't ask many questions, just because it's not something I wanted to do. But I think you can either meet with them face to face with somebody, or the phone call, and you can just sort of get closure and maybe an apology from them. But I knew that he would sort of get back in my head if I did that. So I chose not to do that, but I know some people might like to do that. I just feel like this is just a topic. There is just so much to say. Like, so much. So much. Someone asked me, what controlling things did he do? So obviously I did touch upon it before, but I'm just going to finish this video off by just highlighting my own experience of red flags. So he would, you know, tell me what to wear, where to go. I couldn't go out with my friends if single boys were going. He would sort of try and control money financially, make me feel like I relied on him for money, which I used to think he was just doing generously. Everything was always about him. It was always very like, if he didn't want to go somewhere, we wouldn't be going there. I felt like I couldn't go to him about a lot. He wouldn't really understand. If I was having a bad day, he wouldn't really understand. He would go through my phone all the time. I would always have to post them on social media. If I didn't, there was a problem. You know, he obviously bought me that present and took it away and gave it back as a reward. He would reward me quite a lot. I know it sounds really, really odd, really odd. I don't know if anyone has experienced that, and if you have, like, maybe let me know in the comments. But he would reward me in ways like, you know, you've been really good. He'd ask me to prove my loyalty to him in certain ways. So if, for example, I said to him, oh, my friends are going out this weekend here, he would go, so what are you going to do? And I say, oh, I'm not going to go, I'll stay with you. And he'd go, yeah, okay, that's do you know what, I'm going to take you out for a really nice meal this weekend. That's like as a reward for obviously being like loyal. I even got his name tattooed on my ribcage, which I didn't even want to say in my last video because I find it so embarrassing and people probably think, oh my god, what on earth. And I am not the type of person to get anything tattooed on me, like anyone's name, ever. Never thought I'd do that, but he drilled it into my head that he would be really happy and it would make him feel really good if I got his name tattooed on me, because other people would see that, and when I was out, boys would see it and no boy would talk to me and come near me. And he just kept talking about it all the time, and he was like, yeah, so I'm gonna get your name tattooed on me and you get my name. And so I got it in the end, because I just felt so manipulated. Like now I look back and I think I was so manipulated, but at the time, if someone said, did he force you to do that? I'd be like, no, of course he didn't. But it's all the emotional manipulation in my head that made me do it. And when I got it, he looked at it and went, you can't even tell that it says my name. It was like, it's tiny. And after it all happened, the final time, the last time I saw him, I got it covered up. And that felt good that day. I just got it completely covered up. But, like, this is going to sound pathetic as well, but I want to get it lasered off. So I got it covered up, and for some reason, this is how everything reminds me of the whole situation. I still look at the new cover up and think of him because I know his tattoo is underneath it. So I do now want to get it lasered off, and I feel like it would just be gone forever. I got a rose from Malia, but I have got an M on the back of my neck, but I sort of covered it up with a tattoo for her and tried to turn like a negative into a positive, but I don't want it on my body anymore. You can't see it, you can't see his name, but I know it's there, if that makes sense. So yeah, I want that off. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm not going to know until I don't know if I've actually answered many questions in this. I've managed to get through the video without crying, and that's what I wanted, because I don't want every time I post these videos for me to be sat crying, because I'm trying to encourage anybody and raise awareness of anybody that is in a relationship like that to leave. And I feel like me sat here crying all the time, if that was me watching that, I'd probably look at it and think, okay, well, leaving isn't great because she sat crying all the time. I do have my bad days. I've had a bit of a bad week this week. I realised it's just literally yesterday was a year since the first incident happened. And that made me feel horrible. I don't really know why, but it did. I haven't had a great week. But yeah, I've got through without crying, because I feel like what I want to try and do and what we can all do, like I want you to all know, anybody going through the situation or anybody that has been, and whether you're 1 year, 5 years, 10 years away from your abuser and you've moved on, but it still hurts, like you're so strong, and we're strong together, and we can turn the dark into light and turn the pain into power and speak up together, spread awareness together, help people together and speak up together. And there's so many comments on my last video that I need to go through still, so many. I want to thank you all again for all your support, and I want you to all know that I will carry on posting videos like this. I'm sorry that I can't get back to all of your messages. I will reply back to as many as I possibly can. And if any of you have any form of advice for any girls, please leave them in the comments below. Any girls watching this now that, you know, you want some more advice that I might not have covered, maybe go down to the comments and hopefully there'll be some advice from other girls. We're all strong and we can all do it, and yeah, I'll be back soon with another video on this topic and everything. I want to carry on raising awareness, I want to carry on speaking about it, and yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon.